from Baton Rouge. And we are underway from Death Valley. Razorbacks will have it first. Davion Warren with some trouble with it, and LSU swarms him inside the 5-yard line. It was Gary Cross who put it on the deck, and Arkansas will have it first with Austin Allen. He's the quarterback after a toe injury to Cole Kelly. Allen brings out the offense. He returns. Senior quarterback who is dealing with some injury troubles. He is a little bit more the mild-mannered one, but he is the starting quarterback today. Devois Whaley is the tailback for Arkansas off the loss to Coastal Carolina, and that one's incomplete. Not a great start for the Razorbacks, so 2nd and 10.
You know, Jason, we know that Arkansas ultimately wants to run the football. That's kind of who they are, certainly with Brett Bielema as their head coach. Austin Allen has experience, and that's going to matter in this atmosphere of 90,000, even though it's 11 o'clock in the morning local time. Austin Allen brings more to the passing game, and he brings less to the quarterback run game. We'll see how this one unfolds.
Second down. Allen on the roll, and he throws it into the turf. Incomplete. Pressure coming, and Nance intended. So Julie Stewart-Banks downstairs. Julie, hi.
Hey guys, well, I noticed that Cole Kelly was limping during initial warm-ups. He was having issues putting weight on that right toe. Evidently, Austin Allen is the healthier of the two. I spoke with him this week. He said it feels like a second life to be back in this position. That when he was on the sideline, he realized how much he loved football. It's a privilege being here. He didn't know if he was going to get it back. He said, though, he had to relearn how to throw the football just due to the nature of injury. He still feels a bit of pain, but it's limited.
He's not in the most positive setting, let's say that. On 3rd down. That one is nearly intercepted. Dante Jackson came streaking across in front of Nance, and it's 4th down.
Rashad Lawrence, number 90, I think got pressure, and that ball was tipped a little bit at the line of scrimmage, and Jackson almost comes up with it. The ball almost got through to the intended target, but there was a lot of pressure in the end zone. Rashad Lawrence, I think number 90, the defensive end, got pressure a little bit, affected the throwing motion of Austin Allen, but not a very pleasant way for Allen to come back. Completely uncomfortable on that first drive.
DJ Chark back to receive the punt from Blake Johnson, and he puts it on the ground. Ball loose. And it looks like Chark got back on top of it. He did. Ooh, a tenuous start. And maybe the guy to stabilize it is Darius Geis.
Geis finds a hole. Touchdown, LSU. And he hits the hole. That is a grown man. Here he is again. Breaking free. They won't catch him. Touchdown, LSU.
A young man who's been through so much, but continues to run violently on the field, Darius Geis. And we'll see a lot of him today for LSU off the loss to Alabama last week. Opening run for Geis, and he nearly has a first down. It was Andre Tolliver taking him out of bounds, but this is a kid who racks up the yardage.
Yeah, and remember, Darius Geis was sitting somewhat behind Leonard Fournette the last couple of seasons. And then last year, when Fournette was hurt, we saw what Geis could do, and he brings up that explosive splash ability.
And as you saw, Darrell Williams and Darius Geis will be together on the field quite a bit. Geis split out this time, Williams the tailback, and that's Geis in motion as Danny Etling evades pressure and throws it downfield. Incomplete, a little too much on it. And 2nd down coming up. Danny Etling, the transfer from Purdue in his 2nd season at LSU, may be moving back with a flag on the field.
Holding, offense number 78, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's on Garrett Brumfield, the left guard. So Danny Etling, who he told us after practice the other day on his official visit to Purdue, the coach was fired.
That's not a good start.
Great start to your college career. He ends up at LSU and has been serviceable, but they'd like some more on the deep balls. Darius Geis for a short gain to the 46.
Jason, you're already being way too pleasant to start this game. Danny Etling simply missed about a half a dozen opportunities last week against Alabama on deep balls, and Matt Canada told us that they rushed for 190 yards on Alabama's defense without any quarterback rushing yards. Nobody does that. They had 6 opportunities behind the coverage of Alabama. Nobody does that, but they didn't hit those 6 opportunities. Downfield throwing is where Danny Etling has to improve his pass game.
Geis this time came from the slot, and Darius Geis to the 43. What you saw on Etling, what's missing on the deep balls?
I think you got to pull the trigger. You have to trust what you see. He has the experience as a senior, and it's a complicated offense. We've talked to him about play calling. You have to recite a paragraph in the huddle every time. And I think the translation is at the line of scrimmage as a quarterback, sometimes there's so much going on between the ears that you forget the instinctive part of throwing was just let it rip.
Pressure coming, and down he goes. Etling sacked. TJ Smith was in there along with Randy Ramsey.
And Jason, that is an opportunity for Arkansas defensively. LSU has given up 21 sacks coming into this game. They play games up front, a little line sun up inside, looping around the outside, and they get to Etling. But remember, that drive was sabotaged because of the holding penalty by Brumfield, and then Arkansas finds a way to get off the field early. Very important.
Groudon to punt, and he draws a fair catch. So Arkansas will be inside the 15-yard line when we come back. They battle for the boot, LSU and Arkansas. Scoreless.
You're watching Veterans Week coverage on ESPN, brought to you by USAA.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Arkansas and LSU both have had cracks at the football so far in Death Valley, and neither has scored. About 3 minutes in, Jason Benetti, Kelly Stauffer, Julie Stewart-Binks, our entire crew on a lovely day. It's snowing in the north. It's 70 and sunny here.
I'm glad we're not in the north. This is an incredible way to see a college football game.
Whaley, the tailback for Allen and the offense. Play action screen, and Whaley has some room. Devois Whaley across the 25 and the 30 for a first down, Arkansas, as we take a look at today's Impact Players, brought to you by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
For Arkansas, I think they need a way to get big plays, and TJ Hammonds is that guy. He's not starting today, but he's going to get some touches. Arden Key makes the defense different, and Devin White, also one of those fellow linebackers of Key, has had a fantastic year.
Arden Key, who gained some weight after surgery in the offseason, has gotten back to his playing weight. And this run goes nowhere with TJ Hammonds as we say hello for the first time to Adnan.
All right, thank you very much, JB. Updating you right now with Texas Tech and Baylor. This is Kiki Kuti. You know, he had 10 kicks coming into today, none further than 30 yards. But how about this? Breaking a big one right out of the gate. 92 yards. Texas Tech's on the board, 7-0 over hapless Baylor. JB.
Yeah, and 7's not going to be the end of the road, I don't think, for the Red Raiders.
Like 67.
They will run it with Whaley up the middle and set up a third down and manageable after the loss for TJ Hammonds. But on the first play of the drive, we saw Hammonds, who was by far the breakout star last week against Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, and he brings a different element to that run game. They're a physical group up front and a physical group of running backs that actually is missing a couple of key components. But TJ Hammonds has been a running back and gone to wide receiver. Now he's back to running back, and he brings a speed element that this Arkansas offense needs.
Arkansas Top 35 in the country, third down offense. Pressure coming. Oh my goodness gracious. What a sack for LSU's Dante Jackson.
Dante Jackson is one of the most physical corners in the SEC, and if you're a right-handed quarterback, you have to see the potential blitzers to your backside, and Austin Allen does not see Dante Jackson. Very fortunate that Allen was able to hang on to that football. Completely untouched, called a cowboy blitz. It's a corner coming off a short path to the quarterback, and he gets home.
Chark very dangerous, forced to step up, and fair catch. He put the last one on the turf. And this one was dicey as well. The special teams a little chancy for LSU early at home.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by USAA. Show your appreciation this Veterans Day using #HonorThroughAction.
A couple hours from here in Northwest Louisiana, it's the second bomb wing, the oldest bomb wing in the U.S. Air Force. The B-52, by the way, can go 8,000 miles without refueling. Kelly Stauffer can only go 22 miles without refueling. Veterans Day weekend, and we celebrate with college football across America as Darius Geis gets dropped right around the line of scrimmage by Briston Guidry, the redshirt freshman from Kenner, Louisiana. A lot of crossover on these two teams, Louisiana, Arkansas.
And Guidry's one of those guys, and he's in that front seven that has to be so good today, Jason, against this physical run. Matt Canada has so many moving parts pre-snap, and if you're on defense for Arkansas, you have to ignore most of that and be gap sound. You can't get distracted by the eye candy, and Guidry did a great job on that last play, and early on, Arkansas's defensive front seven has responded really well.
Stephon Sullivan in motion, Geis running that direction. Third down is on the way as Taco Bell is a proud partner of the college football playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long.
Those fans are trying to wake up is what they're doing. They're used to night games here at Tiger Stadium. So that's one thing that Coach Orgeron told us is a key. They have to get off to a fast start, and they have to bring the energy to the crowd as opposed to the crowd bringing the energy to the team. That happens at night typically in these parts.
Love the body paint. It said "Go Veterans" in the French spelling.
That was pretty cool.
Third down for Etling. Pressure coming down the middle, and Etling fans it out to the sideline for a nice grab from D. Anderson, the sophomore out of DeSoto, Texas.
Anderson on the catch, and Cameron Curl, the true freshman, had it perfectly covered. You can't cover it any better than that. What you can do better is make a better play on the ball at the end. Great coverage, but at the end of the day, a well-placed ball to a wide receiver that can snatch it typically wins.
First catch for Anderson, and now they'll put it on the ground. And Darius Geis up the middle inside the 40.
Well, guys, Matt Canada told me the reason why they're using both Darius Geis and Darrell Williams is that they're just more difficult to defend together. He said everyone is always so focused on Geis, but if we can add the X factor of Williams, he's not a traditional fullback. He can be a receiver. He's explosive. He can run jet. He can flex out. They said this system wasn't conducive against Alabama, but worked very well against Ole Miss because of the matchup.
Yeah, and having both of those guys on the field is just the best way to get all of your playmakers out there at one time.
It's another one of the playmakers, DJ Chark in motion. And they'll run the jet sweep for him. Chark 1-on-5, and that's not going to work. Randy Ramsey was in on the stop with 4 of his cohorts. It's a loss of 4.
And so, Jason, what you're going to see out of this Canada offense here in Baton Rouge is you're going to see a lot of pre-snap movement. They will relocate linemen to become unbalanced in a lot of ways. And then there's a lot of jet motion, which what we saw the first motion by Chark is the jet motion, and then there's a return jet motion. And every time those guys pass the quarterback, there's the opportunity the ball could be snapped. You have to keep your eyes right defensively.
More motion. Etling to throw. Wide open man. Chark across the 35. And a first down. That motion absolutely stuffs the playbook of LSU.
Yeah, and LSU likes to relocate people. So you'll see him move an offensive lineman actually right here to the left side. And it becomes 3 linemen outside of the center. The other side is the guard and only 1 lineman, and you have multiple guys. What is the defense looking at? And it's all about gap integrity. But before you can do that, where's the jet motion going? Is he getting the ball? Is he not? In this case, they give it to Gage on that jet sweep. You got to be sound with your eyes against this LSU scheme.
That time Chark with the eye candy. Williams is the Thunder down to the 15-yard line. Darrell Williams gain of 17, first down.
Well, Jason, what Julie talked about, having Darius Geis and Williams on the field at the same time, it creates a different skill set as well. Geis is an explosive guy that has a lot of speed, and Williams is more of the thunder like you talked about. It's a different presentation to the defensive guys coming up to make a tackle.
He was a little bigger in the spring. They challenged him to lose weight. He did, and he is running hard. Darrell Williams to the 10 for an LSU rush attack that is 31st in the country.
And Darrell Williams was instrumental early in this year because Geis was dinged up. He really was dinged up in camp, was Geis. And then he was coming back in the first couple of games. He was okay, got dinged up again, and wasn't himself for about 4 games in a row. And that's where Darrell Williams really showed up. The knowledge of the game, his desire to learn the game. He's a pro out there, and then it's a different run presentation, much more physical than Geis is.
Geis back in, play action, and that's incomplete. Foster Morrow, the tight end, had a possible walk-in touchdown if it was on target.
Those are the gimmies that Danny Etling just simply has to hit every time. The play action off of that vaunted run game that we've been talking about, and you have a receiver, this case tight end, open in the flat, and you're exactly right. It's designed to be just that. That tight end's typically involved in the run game. He blocks down, expands late, play action matches him out in the flat, and the quarterback air mails it.
Matches him, what do you mean? We have a whistle and a timeout. We'll talk more about that when we come back to Baton Rouge. Well, no, they do have a flag that's come in.
Illegal substitution against the offense. 12-minute in formation. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So no timeout for the moment, although LSU's coaches came onto the field and they are huddling up.
Well, Arkansas is wondering what we're doing, and LSU's huddled up, and now Arkansas is going to. No, I think we are actually going to play this, Jason.
You're leaving, we're staying. We're staying, you're leaving. And we're both leaving, you're staying.
And what I meant by the play action pass matching the tight end, the quarterback play actions and gets out in sync to the side. The tight end is sneaking out into the flat. All of that worked perfectly, and Etling just airmailed the ball.
Now movement at the line by Arkansas. Etling on the roll. Danny Etling to throw, and he's got it down to the 5 to Darrell Williams. And a marker has come in.
I think Williams might have gone out of bounds, and he was the first one to touch it when he came back in. The hat is off the official. That's usually a good indicator.
Illegal touching. Offense number 28. Correction. Loss of down at the previous spot. 4th down.
Yeah, you don't get that play back.
That's the big part of that penalty. Williams is an eligible receiver up to the top. He goes out of bounds and comes back in and gets the football. You can't do that. And then it's the loss of down. So remember, this drive was deep in the score zone, and now LSU settling for a 3-point attempt.
Connor Culp has made 8 in a row since earning the job. And Culp, on his first try of the day, is no good. How about that? A drive that was promising, backslid, and now Ed Ogeron, who had some kicker trouble, might have it again.
If you're Arkansas, these little things have to go well early. These are all good signs for Rhett Bielema.
No score, in Arkansas typically is the beneficiary of Alabama week for LSU. The schedule stacks where LSU plays Alabama and then Arkansas.
Yeah.
Maybe a little hangover today?
Yeah, I think so. I think the physical game last week is carrying over into this one. I don't think LSU is really in it. It's kind of like a big bruise. You don't want anyone to touch it for a while. LSU seems like that to me right now.
Austin Allen regaining his starting job on the roll. He throws it out of bounds, and part of that early sleepwalk is the missed field goal from the usually reliable Connor Culp.
Connor Culp missed one early in the year, and Coach O told us yesterday that he's been money ever since, hasn't missed one. That one was really close, but if it's above the goalpost, it's not reviewable. In or out below the goalpost, we can look at that, but that was above it. It did look close, but I take the official that's literally standing right under that bar that it went over.
So still scoreless here in Baton Rouge. And Arkansas will run it on second down. Adnan.
Well, Jason, going to update you on a Big Ten matchup here. Michigan State and Ohio State, 2 7-2 teams, and that's Mike Weber pounding it through with good acceleration. 7-0 Buckeyes right now in Columbus midway through the first. And also Iowa State, Oklahoma State. This is Kyle Kemp to Alan Lazard. 7-0 Cyclones on ABC and ESPN2. Jason.
Matt Campbell's Cyclones causing a lot of trouble for a lot of people this year. 3rd down and 7 for Arkansas. Allen steps up. Allen throws it on the go. It is incomplete. Jonathan Nance got shellacked over the middle, and LSU is hitting hard. Grant Delpit was involved on the coverage, and again, it was not a clean pocket for Austin Allen.
Devin White is going to run the rail around the edge, number 40, or actually it's number 45. You talked about it, Arden Key. And that's exactly what Arden Key's supposed to bring to the table. He's supposed to run the rail, dip the hip, and go get to the quarterback, and he forces Austin Allen to step up in the pocket. Arkansas is going to have to prove they can block the edge rushers, and it's typically going to be number 49, Key, for LSU.
This is Yelda Froholt, who is injured, the former defensive lineman turned offensive lineman, the left guard for Arkansas. So 4th and 7 when we come back as they check on Froholt. A great game for you tonight on ABC. As you saw, A-Rod had the turnover chain. Coach Corso had his own beach. Number 3, Notre Dame. Number 7, Miami. Hard Rock Stadium, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. Irish, all 3 meetings since
Did A-Rod have the actual turnover chain, or did he go out and buy his own?
Well, I think
he can afford his own.
I think he can afford a couple of his own, by the way.
Because we couldn't even find the turnover chain before or after the game, and only after a turnover could we find it during the game.
It's in a secure location, protected by white gloves and flown in from Switzerland. Johnson punting to Chark, who twice has made it interesting, and this time a secure catch inside the 40-yard line. So LSU will have it. 3:03 to go. First quarter. 6-3 LSU, which has gone up and down quite a bit this year. As we take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. FPI says there's only a 21% chance that the top 4 all get through this week unscathed.
Wow. I think Alabama needs to be heads up at Mississippi State. I don't like that matchup, even though I think Alabama probably is the best team in the country. Nicked up on defense, and they have Fitzgerald to contend with, a quarterback that can extend plays with his feet.
Doesn't LSU know it after the game against Mississippi State? Darius Geis navigating across midfield, just short of the 45, Adnan.
Well, JB, another update for you. This time checking in again on Oklahoma State and Iowa State. Once again, it's on ABC or ESPN2. This is David Montgomery. Look at the way he reverses direction, makes a couple of cuts, and yes, he gets in 14-0 for Matt Campbell's Cyclones. Back to you.
Josie Jewell, the Iowa linebacker, told us a couple weeks ago he thinks Montgomery is a possible Heisman contender in the future. He's that good.
Yeah, that's pretty high praise coming from one of the best linebackers in the land.
Time to feed Darius Geis, and he's got about a yard. Dijon Harris, the sophomore linebacker, leading tackler. They call him Scooter, and he was in on the tackle.
Are you going to tell me why they call him that, or are you just going to throw that out there with no explanation?
He just scoots around the field.
Is that really it?
82 tackles.
Yeah, and he's the impressive guy in this new scheme. Paul Rhodes' 3-4 scheme. Brett Bielema thought the 3-4 fit his roster better than having 4-down linemen, and it's also more multiple to play against spread teams. And Dijon Harris is the middle linebacker that the onus fell on him in the spring to get this done early and be able to play at a high level, and he's done just that this season.
Etling on second down. Etling lobs it sideline. Chark lost his man. DJ Chark waltzes in. Touchdown LSU.
We talked about LSU needing to find their vertical pass game. They had opportunities against Alabama, and it went unfulfilled. And Tolliver was on the coverage. DJ Chark runs a double move. Give a hint inside, break it to the post, or excuse me, to the seam outside, and it was well thrown by Etling. Those opportunities weren't seized last week. That's a great look at what this LSU offense needs to do going forward, closing out this season.
Daryl Chark Jr., the senior out of Alexandria, Louisiana, who said the players were too comfortable after that Troy game. Wow. He was one of the vocal guys, and he's got him on the board today.
And Chark is he's man-to-man outside against Andre Tolliver. He's going to fake inside and really a couple steps to the post, and then he's going to go back out to the vertical outside. Couple steps inside, turn the defensive back around, and then slice by him tight and get vertical, and Etling has to find him. Chark did a couple of those last week, and his quarterback came up short, and that time Etling found him and dropped it in his pocket.
When we talked to Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator for LSU, he said, look, if we hit two of those, two against Alabama, we're tied, we're still playing.
We're batting 500. We are all over Alabama. I mean, that's exactly the way LSU's thinking about this team. Offensively, they have to do things like that.
Just short of the goal line. And Gary Cross to the 20. You can watch all kinds of games on the ESPN app. It's your best friend. Every ESPN and ABC college football game live, scores, news, highlights all season long. Download the ESPN app right now. You can even watch our 90-second yearbook, where we every week talk about the alums from the location we're at. This week, LSU.
We were in front of Mike the Tiger, and he napped the entire time.
We even had fried chicken.
I think he actually smelled the chicken early, but he said, you know what, it's not really worth my time because there's this 20-foot wall between me and the chicken. So he went back to sleep.
Your alum was Y.A. Tittle, by the way. I chose Alex Bregman. As Arkansas will run it on first down. Julie.
Guys, Arkansas offensive lineman Yelda Froholt has been taken to the locker room with a left ankle injury. He's currently getting an x-ray. I noticed that he had difficulty walking off of the field, putting pressure on that left ankle. He was able to get off on his own regard, but he was in visible pain.
Well, considering, Julie, that Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in all the land, is already out. Now we see Cantrell, the tight end for Arkansas, that's still on the ground. But this offensive line up front has not looked Brett Bielema-like this season. When you lose your best guy, one of the best in the country in Ragnow, and then Froholt was one of those guys. But right here speaks a lot to the near misses with Arkansas, especially on the offensive side. Raleigh Williams was the leading rusher in the SEC in the regular season a year ago. He was supposed to be a great tandem with Whaley, and that didn't pan out. And then Jared Cornelius was going to be the go-to receiver, and he got hurt early. And then Austin Allen's been out for about a month.
And by the way, you lose Williams. His backup, the freshman Hayden, started to run the ball very well. He breaks his leg.
He's out. Exactly. And so the depth was tested, and Arkansas is a developmental program, meaning you have to get guys in, you have to beef them up and develop them and play them as juniors and seniors. And when they start playing young guys, it's typically not a good sign.
That's Nance in motion, and Jonathan Nance with just the 5th positive play for Arkansas today. It is a first down on a gain of 8.
So the offensive play caller, Dan Enos, wants to run it physically up front, and then it's kind of a West Coast type passing game in terms of controlling the clock with it, a little bit of timing. The play action pass is typically where they get their vertical passing game going, but it has to be executed well, and Austin Allen has looked a bit rusty.
Devois Whaley cannot find a door to go through right at the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard. Devin White, the sophomore linebacker. It was funny, we were talking to Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator, yesterday, and he said Devin White's talking about back in the day as though it was years ago. Last year. I mean, that's how much he's gotten better. He talks about last season as back in the day.
He doesn't have many days. He's what, like a 19, 20-year-old? You can't go very far back. But Dave Aranda is a sharp dude, is he not?
Yes, he is.
You wanted to kind of give him a hug because you just was so into what he was saying.
Well, he said, look, if I wasn't a college football coach, I would have been a professor.
In philosophy, probably.
How about it? 7-0 LSU. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Just 28 yards for Arkansas in the first quarter. They were swallowed up by the Tigers, including Mike. That's Mike 6 in his natural habitat.
Cool. I wanted to give you a piece of chicken and have you climb the fence and see what happened.
You know, the more dangerous part would have been the climbing of the fence than the feeding of the chicken. But thank you for asking. 2nd and 11 for Arkansas out of the timeout. Austin Allen play action twice. Allen throws and a sliding grab at the 48-yard line for a first down. Arkansas, and Deion Stewart for Brett Bielema in his 5th season, and he's 2 games under 500. Got some advice from a former Hog coach himself, Nolan Richardson. His advice was not exactly the most upbeat advice, right?
What was it? In all sickness there is not death. Is that right? It? When your friends are saying that to you, you need to kind of circle the wagons a bit.
But the point being, you can get through this.
Well, Brett is a pretty positive guy, so I think he's on top of it, and I think he's the man for the job. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Fayetteville.
TJ Hammonds driven back by Grant Delpit along with Frank Herron. So 2nd down.
Well, what's not happening, JB, right now is a run game for Arkansas. And they're not built to throw the ball all around the parking lot and make things happen. And LSU and Dave Aranda in particular know that. They're going to force Austin Allen to prove that he's not rusty and that he can find open receivers in order to get to the score zone to get points.
His last action was October the 7th in the 3rd quarter against South Carolina. Welcome back. You're in Death Valley. Hammonds out of the backfield, juggling, and on the ground. This is stopped. Jackson absconded with it. It's 3rd down.
And that's one of the prototypical ways you can get the ball to TJ Hammonds right now. You can simply build him a touch where you know there's 100% chance that TJ Hammonds is going to get the ball. A swing screen. Notice the blockers out front. He has a personal protector. The tight end going out wide as well, and TJ Hammonds just doesn't look at him.
Question is, was that a backward pass? And when you're biasing, you bias toward it being a backward pass is the new mechanic for the officials. It's a drop off for Cantrell back on the field, but he may not be happy about that. John Battle lit him up. Adnan Burke.
Well, JB, good use of absconded. Also, AT&T field pass, Oklahoma State and Iowa State. With James Washington a little bit banged up, Marcel Aben has taken a bigger role. That's a nice catch from Mason Rudolph. ABC and ESPN2. Iowa State up 14-7. JB.
Wow.
All your updates have been the same game. They keep scoring.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Is the Gundy mullet still in play here, or did Bedlam knock that off his head a bit?
The old Bedlam shave?
Yeah, the Bedlam shave.
Chark back to receive the punt. He has the only touchdown as they hunker down with the ball going out of bounds. So LSU gets it back early second quarter from Death Valley. Earliest start they've had here in 6 years, but LSU's got the advantage.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, a century of innovation, and Koch Industries. Challenge accepted.
That's Woo Pig Sooie all across the globe as we salute all of our nation's veterans, past and present, no matter their college football team allegiance. This is all Arkansas, but so many college football lovers defending our country across the globe, and we thank them all for their service. Doubt. LSU gets it back after the punt, and Etling to throw on the screen to Dillon on first down. And Derek Dillon, the sophomore out of the state of Louisiana, makes the catch, set up second down.
Yeah, and we saw practice on Thursday, and we saw Derek Dillon was really figured into this game plan. And then talking to Matt Canada, it's exactly what he said. We want to get 19 going a little bit to give us another vertical opportunity. And Dillon is more kind of the slot guy that can catch screens, but he would be a great sidekick to DJ Chark as well. We've already seen go vertical in this one.
Geis in motion. Williams rummaging for a couple of yards and finally thrown back. Third down after we check in with Adnan.
Good news, JB. We got different games this time. I want to tell you what's happening in Michigan State and Ohio State. JT Barrett with a 4-yard run. So the Buckeyes are 14-0. A good bounce back after last week through one quarter play. And Rutgers and Penn State. Trace McSorley, longest rush of his career, 20-yard run, 16th rushing touchdown, 7-6. Penn State leads Rutgers. Back to you guys.
You know what? Chris Ash has done a very nice job this year for Rutgers, getting them back at least engaged and available to win in the Big Ten. Could be a tough one today, though. Third down and short for Etling. They throw for it, and they've got the first down to Dillon one more time, up to the 45 to move the sticks.
An interesting play call. It's 3rd and 1. You have this massive offensive line, and you go empty, and you throw it out in space to a receiver that converts. I like the changeup, because everybody here thought that Matt Canada would line up a couple of running backs, William maybe in there with Geis, and you would mush up in there for a yard, and he goes empty, and Etling's able to convert and maintain this drive.
Play action, Etling going deep. Chark man-to-man coverage, and incomplete. He was funneled out to the sideline by Curl, and a flag comes in.
It was actually the same route off the same play action that Chark caught the touchdown pass on. Not well thrown by Etling. Faded too much to the sideline. If it was vertical, number 7 has a chance.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Cameron Curl is the true freshman on the coverage. Man alive, Jason. I think that's an opportunity to keep the flag in the pocket. The sideline judge literally on the sideline, and that play was coming right to him, is looking at all of that and chose not to throw the flag, and the official in the middle of the field throws it, and I didn't think there was anything there worth throwing the yellow flag on that one.
Geis on first down. I mean, it's been a rough season for Cameron Curl. He's a freshman out of the state of Oklahoma, and they were throwing at him so much early this year because Andre Tolliver is so good on the other side. But Curl has shown that he is able on that side, so Tolliver's been getting some more balls thrown his way.
Yeah, and there was a transition there where targets were going at Curl, and then he proved he could hold up, and so then it really kind of balanced out again. And people weren't trying to take advantage of him. But today, LSU has squarely put an X on Curl's chest, and they've gone after him, I think, 3 different times already. One of them resulted in a touchdown by Chark.
Loads of time for Etling. Deep ball, incomplete. He wanted Dillon, who got his hands on it. And Santos Ramirez, the very vocal leader from Shreveport, with the coverage.
Dillon was going to the post, and then this ball was thrown outside, and it was a great adjustment by Dillon, a tremendous throw by Danny Etling, and quite frankly, that should have been another touchdown. Santos Ramirez, the safety, got turned around a little bit. Dillon found the ball, just couldn't finish.
Tell you what, Ramirez, even though he was falling, he did make the contact with his back, with Dillon's back, hand to back, to at least make him know he was there.
Just when the ball was arriving, it was pretty good timing by Ramirez as a kind of a last-ditch effort.
Etling double clutch down the middle. That was a low ball and incomplete. Tolliver, the coverage of Sullivan, who wanted a flag and won't get it. Now, 4th and 8+ territory. What you got?
I think you play field position right here. You don't want to give. What kind of a field goal would this be? Now, you don't want to give Arkansas better field position than they've been getting on their own. Right now, Arkansas's offense isn't really getting much of anything going. So pin them and have your LSU defense keep them back there and kind of flip the field for your own offense. All of that's in theory, by the way. Sometimes does not work like that.
Groudon will punt. And this is batted backward. LSU touched it first at the 9-yard line. That's where it will sit. World Series hero Alex Bregman, former Bayou Bengal, joins us next.
Welcome back to Tiger Stadium. I'm joined by Alex Bregman, who just won the World Series with the Houston Astros. Congratulations. How has the last week been for you?
It's been unbelievable, whirlwind, and I'm definitely happy to come back here to Baton Rouge, a place that's my second home, and be able to celebrate with the great people from here.
Just curious, after that Game 6 loss, heading into a Game 7 on the road, what were those emotions like?
Yeah, a lot of people said it was over. A lot of people said that we didn't have a chance, but we had positive vibes the entire time in the clubhouse, and we had some great veterans on that team, a great coaching staff, and it was fun. It was a blast to play in on that stage.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
A little more subdued than last we saw him. Photobombing interviews in the World Series. TJ Hammond's big play threat gets strung out there. And second down coming up. He used to play at Alex Bach Stadium just down the road a piece. Golden Spikes finalist, 2nd overall pick. And the Astros, there was talk of trading him for a while. They kept him. And
silly.
Yeah, very, very smartly so, they kept him.
Yeah, that was a tremendous World Series. We were in the Stauffer household on every one of those games.
Is that right?
Why do you laugh at that?
Why?
You don't think we have television back at the ranch, or what? What is that laugh all about?
I didn't know if UHF got you to that channel.
We had to fix the antenna, but it worked well.
2nd down, 8. Austin Allen with a hand to Williams. And the run game's not there. 3rd down, Adnan.
Well, JB, another update for you. This time, Michigan State, Ohio State. Seriously, it's all Buckeyes. 3rd and goal. JT Barrett says 21-0 right now as Ohio State's having the way with Mark D'Antonio's team visiting. And Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Justice Hill, 9-yard touchdown here. Now tied up at 14. I want to hear more about what goes on in the Stauffer household. JB.
I think that'll be at halftime. Arkansas 0 for 4 on 3rd down.
Wow, do they need something big to happen here?
High snap. Shovel pass. And that's not going anywhere. 4th down. coming up. And Matt Canada loves to run the shovel pass on the LSU side. Sometimes during the week you steal your opponent's plays a little bit, don't you?
You do. That's a good point. And Austin Allen's not a real good runner of the football, not real decisive. So quarterback draw isn't one of their best plays. Donnie Alexander is banged up just a little bit, but that's the way you can do it. It's kind of a speed option outside, but you have the shovel inside, and LSU's defense holds the fort, and LSU's offense should inherit pretty good field position.
Chark fair catch at the 42. That's where LSU will embark from when we come back from Death Valley. 7-0 Tigers.
Right now, you're watching that. While Dari, Gene, and Chris are watching this, doing that, and talking to this guy. Which means you can watch it all later when you tune in to SEC Now. Tonight on the SEC Network.
Ed Ogeron's SEC through and through. He used to be the head coach at Ole Miss, but did you know that he was the assistant strength coach at Arkansas in 1986? His first ever D1 coaching job was the next year, and Ken Hatfield gave him that gig to get him into D1 football. LSU to run, and Williams and Geis, we've seen both of them so far today, but Ed Ogeron said, look, he was making $25 every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Drove an old Monte Carlo, and that's the first place he ever had white gravy.
First time he ever saw it, let alone try to eat it. But that's what he did with his $25 every 2 weeks. He bought himself some brown gravy. I think that's what he told us, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how that story went?
He was very appreciative of Coach Hatfield for that first coaching job. Darrell Williams trying the left side. And it's third down for LSU on the way in a low-scoring first half. But Ed Ogeron, always fun to talk to, always energetic. And we found out as well one of his favorite pastimes is to drive around and eat coleslaw, drink it from those little white cups.
That was not his pastime. Well, that was when he was taking lunch to his kids.
Yeah,
That's
but the coleslaw didn't make it back.
Oh, yeah. His kids didn't like the coleslaw. They liked the fries and the chicken. So he just had like a half dozen coleslaws on his way from the restaurant to the school.
Third down and 5, LSU. Blindside pressure coming, and down goes Etling. Oh, mercy. What a big hit for the Razorbacks and Randy Ramsey.
If you're not going to block them, as a quarterback, you have to see them. Again, the backside to the quarterback. Ramsey comes off the edge. You always have to be aware of the short side when you're the QB. If there's a blitzer in the position to hit you in the middle of the back, you have to ID him before the snap if you don't have him blocked. And Etling did not do that, and Ramsey got home. LSU has to punt the football.
Crowded again. Tolliver takes it from the 10. Andre Tolliver, middle of the field, flag has come in. This may be coming back. Tolliver, a good return. But Arkansas, maybe with some misfortune, one of the top 15 least penalized teams in the country, could have had an important flag here.
Doing the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team, number 13, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That is an illegal block in the back. This is a very legal hit in the back from Randy Ramsey, who had been off campus, now back as a Razorback, and he gets Arkansas the ball when we come back. ESPN College Football presented by Vizio as part of Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA, and we thank all of our veterans for their service today, this weekend, and every day in college football and across America. Quiet offensive day so far for the Hogs here in Baton Rouge, scoreless, and quarterback Austin Allen remains out there. Cole Kelly, his backup today, was hobbled by a toe injury last week. And play action for Allen. He lobs it out there for a nice play to the 25, and Jeremy Patton, first down, Arkansas. And don't forget, later on, two big college football playoff implication games. Florida State and Clemson, 3:30 Eastern. Then right after that, 7 o'clock, second-ranked Alabama in Starkville to take on Mississippi State, number 16 in the country. You can watch them both on the ESPN app. Bama did get by LSU last week, but it was not exactly the walkaway that the Crimson Tide would have liked.
Yeah, and they got beat up, and they have to deal with Nick Fitzgerald, Mississippi State quarterback, and get a ton done with his feet.
Back on the ground for Arkansas, and Whaley slugged by Devin White. The drive chart is not exactly a roadmap of how to get coast to coast.
Yeah, this is how not to be successful as an offense right here. And the result has been punt. The average starting field position for Arkansas has been their own 13. So you just have to not screw it up when you get it at your own 13 on average. But if you're a kind of cup half full type of guy, which I know you are, JB, you have to say we're only down 7. And we haven't had the ball anywhere that we like it. So make something good happen here and hold the fort.
Nance in motion, they run it. And a big hole for Arkansas, and Devwa Whaley across the 45-yard line. It took Kevin Tolliver to take him down. First down, Razorbacks.
And so many times, if you want to run the football, and that's kind of your ID, which it is with Arkansas, you got to keep pounding the rock, because then you start to get a little bit of softness, and that was a result of it. That was right down Main Street, and Arkansas will stick to that. But this drive is vitally important. Go down and, best case scenario, tie it up when your starting field position has been horrendous in this first half.
Whaley stays in, and Whaley gets belted. Greg Gilmore was right there on it from the LSU defensive line.
Yeah, Gilmore is that nose tackle in the up front from Dave Aranda, and basically what Gilmore is supposed to do at 310 pounds is he's supposed to be a two-gapper, or as Aranda would say, take two with you, meaning force the offense to use two offensive linemen to block one guy. And that time, two couldn't even deal with Gilmore.
Allen goes down the other sideline and has a wide open man. First down and more for Arkansas. And the Razorbacks hit it with Patton Adnan.
All right, JB, it's all Buckeyes. JT Barrett to J.K. Dobbins. You know, Brian Lewerke, Michigan State quarterback, had 400-yard games back-to-back coming in. He's got 7 yards passing. It's 28-0 Ohio State. They are all over the Spartans. And moments ago, Penn State, Deshaun Hamilton from Trace McSorley threading the needle. They're now leading Rutgers by the margin of 14-6. JB.
I think Urban's a little cranky after that.
Yeah, I think that
trip
whole
to
group
Iowa.
is cranky.
Little reverse from Arkansas and Davion Warren. So second down for the Razorbacks. And the Big Ten's best hope, it looks like, for the college football playoff is undefeated Wisconsin right now.
Yeah, they're not getting a ton of respect, but I think they still have winnable, and their best quality of wins and potentially are ahead of them starting today with Iowa. But right now, Arkansas has exactly what they wanted. They once again inherited bad field position. They're making a drive out of it, but it's been the pass game. A couple of timely throws by Austin Allen on this drive have worked really well with a run game that's been working better on this drive also.
Williams finds a hole, and Williams gets taken down inside the 15-yard line. Dante Jackson saved the day on the run from Williams, and it looks like there's a marker down as well.
Offside. Defense number 90. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
Inside a minute and a half. First half in Baton Rouge. Double play action. Screen to Whaley. And he can't pick his way past the linebacker level. Second down coming up.
And that's actually a pretty decent screen down in the red zone. And the key to a good screen, and Arkansas is quite frankly one of the best screen teams in all the country, and it's old style. It's kind of the slip screens and using your offensive linemen. We're not talking about bubbles and tunnels and all those things with Brett Bielema. We're talking about slip screens where our offensive line has to sort it out, and that was a pretty positive play on first down in the red zone.
3 wide, second down. Allen wants to run for it. Cuts back inside to the end zone. He goes, and they mark him down at the 1. He was very, very close. White and Alexander comboed him down.
And this was a great decision. It was play action and nothing was there. And we see Arkansas is going to hurry up and try to pound this one into the end zone.
And they do. Touchdown Razorbacks. Devois Whaley late in the first half.
And that's where this Arkansas defense is, or offense is pretty darn good, is they know how to close out drives. 74% touchdowns once they get down there. The problem has been not getting down there enough. But that's the way you do it. Timely passing, physical running, starting to create some room. And the first 5 drives were nothing, and this drive was absolutely a thing of beauty.
Tie ball game, Adnan.
Yeah, JB, that's good to see. Lexus halftime report also. The Buckeyes bounce back, as you and Kelly mentioned. Urban Meyer a little cranky right now as they're all over Michigan State. A rivalry revitalized. We'll look ahead to Miami and Notre Dame. The keys to that matchup, 8 Eastern, ABC. Plus, update you on what's happening after last night's Pac-12 loss. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, and me. Guys?
Kel, I got a question for you.
Okay, let's see if I have an answer. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Chances Mississippi State beats Alabama tonight. What's it going to take?
Well, it's going to take Fitzpatrick having a whale of a game on the ground, usually outside the design of the play. There are opportunities against Alabama, and actually Matt Canada told us this. This is the key. LSU ran the ball for 190 yards and had 0 out of their quarterback. Mississippi State can run the ball like that, but they have the quarterback design runs and the quarterback outside the design using his feet. I think that's the key. And then once in a while, when you get by Alabama's coverage, you have to make it pay.
Low line drive kick. And we'll see if LSU decides with 3 timeouts to chuck it here. But we need to tell you about our next top-ranked boxing event tonight from Fresno with 2 main events. Artur Beterbiev and Enrico Curling from the IBF light heavyweight belt matchup. That's Andre Ward's vacated belt. Then Jose Carlos Ramirez against Amir Imam lined up, but first he's got to get past Mike Reed. 10:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. So
that was quite a full read you had going on there.
Thank you very much. I read exactly what's on the card.
That was a very full card. We might need a 6x11 next time.
Looks like LSU is going to take a knee. And there it is. We got nowhere in the first half.
No. Arkansas loves where they are right now.
They have to. 7-7 your score from Baton Rouge. But for now, halftime report. Joey Galloway and Jesse Palmer flanking Adnan Berg, guys.
I think Brett Bielema really likes where his team is right now.
LSU will have it to start the third quarter. From the 25-yard line. So the first quarter was LSU's. The second quarter was Arkansas's.
Yeah, and that last drive was Arkansas's. Their offense hadn't done anything on their first 5 drives, and then Allen was 3 for 3 throwing the ball. And you can see right there a tale of 2 quarters, but that last drive with Arkansas started on their own 14, and they were able to do something with it. So as we know, the game is made of 2 halves. This could be completely different, but LSU has to muscle up on the line of scrimmage and get something out of their run game, and then Danny Etling has to be sharper than he was in the first half.
He will throw on the first play of this half. Etling is on target across the 40 to Stephon Sullivan. So first down LSU on a bullseye from Etling, who did struggle in the first half.
Yeah, that was a good start for Etling. It was a good decision. Sullivan runs an out route off the play action. 6 for 9 in the first half. But remember, he missed an open tight end that could have walked into the end zone. And so there were some timely misses. Has been the theme for LSU offensively this entire season.
Darius Geis, who we told you in the first half has had such a trying life. His father was murdered when he was very young. His brother was arrested over the past couple of years. And Darius Geis, who they say runs angry, runs violently, is trying to track down Kevin Falk for the best rushing number ever in LSU history. I mean, this is a total thumbs up for what college football can do for a young man.
And he plays hurt a lot. He's been nicked up for really a third of this season, maybe even more than that, and he's tried to play through it every time.
Etling steps up. He had Ramsey on him, and he flipped it away for the tight end Morrow on a first down catch across midfield.
Yeah, Morrow was in there to block somebody, and at the end of the day, your quarterback is getting pressure, and Etling steps up and just shovels it off to Morrow. Morrow was in the right place at the right time, but Morrow was supposed to be helping out on the defensive end to begin with. And if you're not going to do that, you might as well be available for the quarterback to shovel you the ball, and in the right place at the right time for Etling.
Wildcat formation for Williams, who had a 54-yarder like that against Alabama. Josh Liddell took him down this time at second down.
And that was a formation, the Wildcat with Williams in there, that worked well against, like you said, against Alabama to give them a play. But Arkansas is going to sell out run against that formation because Williams does not show the propensity to throw the football. So sell out against the run when 28's the quarterback.
Etling now back under center. Gage in motion around the edge. Russell Gage down the sideline across the 30 and a first down as he was bumped by Cameron Curl. There's that motion.
Yes, it's called the jet motion, and or the speed motion, and Matt Canada uses that almost on every play. And what you have to know as a defense, it's all about where your eyes are. You have a responsibility on defense, and if you let your eyes go elsewhere, typically you're not going to hold up in your responsibility, and that's what that fly sweep motion is supposed to do to the defense. Change the picture late. Is he getting the ball or is he not? Gage did on that play.
Etling play action. Etling to the sideline for the tight end, Torrey Carter. And he's got a first down. Julie Stewart-Binks caught up with both coaches.
Well, guys, when I spoke with Coach Brett Bielema, he felt that last drive before halftime really changed the dynamic of this third quarter. He said our defense played their tails off, but we have to be better on third down conversion for our offense while also remaining to protect our quarterback. He said we have two big injuries to our offensive line, with Yelda Froholt dealing with a left ankle injury and Austin Cantrell with a right ankle.
Here's Geis, Julie. Darius Geis weaving inside the 10.
And this is a good opening second half drive response really by LSU, and it's been a mix of the things that they have to do to play well in Matt Canada's offense. You know, a diverse running game with wide receivers getting it, running backs getting it, tight ends catching it a little bit, but Geis is supposed to be the guy that's the volume carrier. And remember, he's been nicked up, so that hasn't been well established this season to date.
Geis around the left side, puts his head down. Touchdown! Oh, a battering ram into the end zone, Darius Geis.
JB, a lot more zone running on this drive, which means it's really kind of a scheme up front to get the offensive line going. It's much more aggressive than pulling guys in a gap type of thing, or a man-to-man scheme up front in the run game. It's zone blocking, be aggressive, let guys be decisive, and let him be physical and finish that run in the end zone.
We told you running backs have owned this series, as that extra point is no good. 9 carries, 48 yards in the first half for Darius Geis, but no more Mr. Nice Geis. LSU retakes the lead. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. LSU, a missed extra point and a missed field goal earlier. Connor Culp, who had made 8 straight field goals coming into this game. Ed Ogeron early in the season said, "We don't have a field goal kicker. I'm about to go out and recruit one." And that woke Connor Culp up. He's had great success, but today has been a downturn for the freshman out of Desert Vista in Phoenix, whose mom had to convince him to try out for football in high school. Davion Warren from the yellow paint. He's explosive, and he's just short of the 30-yard line. Arkansas got on the board late first half with a very strong drive.
Yeah, and it was strong because it was a mix of the things they have to do well. It was a very good running game up front, getting a great fit. They had the throw behind pass to the tight end Patton, and it's the quarterback run, and Austin Allen made a really good decision, then finished the drive with the run. That's exactly who Arkansas is and really needs to be offensively in this second half.
Basically doubled their yardage from the first 5 drives on that trip down the field. David Williams, the tailback, as we say hello to Adnan.
The first half has now come to a close. Joel Lanning with the touchdowns, now 21 all. That's on ABC and ESPN2. And also, Michael Pirine here in Florida, getting back into it versus South Carolina, but still a deficit to overcome. 21-13, JB.
A better look than last week, though. We were in Columbia.
Anything is better than what we saw last week.
Fake the stretch play, run the screen the other direction. And this is going to go for a while. The tight end all the way down the field, Will Gragg, across the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 33.
Well, we talked about this in the first half. Arkansas might be the best screen team in the country, and it's old school screens. Running backs and tight ends being led by offensive linemen that get out there and sort guys out really well. And that was a great screen to Greg the tight end.
Delpit had a chance at him about 10 yards downfield, missed the tackle. Arkansas in business. Draw. Williams. LSU wanted a hold, and here comes the flag. Rashard Lawrence was waving as Williams went streaking by.
Yeah, as Lawrence was being held, he was waving that there was, hey, I'm being held. I think you might have been right.
Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
It's Ty Clary, the freshman, with the injury to Froholt. Clary has come in.
Rashard Lawrence is right there at the defensive end position. And it's when he tries to come off, that's when the offensive lineman gets in trouble. If you're holding and your hands are inside the shoulder pads, you're in good shape. When Lawrence tried to escape and Clary hung on, the true freshman gets a holding penalty.
Williams again. Gets by the first level. Williams staggering down to the 31. Goes down in front of Arden Key, but he got a lot of the penalty yardage back and then some.
Yeah, and I really like what Arkansas is starting to do up front. They did it on that scoring drive to end the first half, and they're doing it here. That it's a better fit up front, and that time it was a gap concept in running the football. There was a polar, an offensive lineman from the left, pulling to lead Williams to the right, and then Williams timed it up well. He was patient and then hit it when that polar found his target.
You can see where the strong side is. It's the right side, and Williams goes up the middle as Lawrence jumped in to spike him down before the first down marker. It's third down for Arkansas. What's your play call here?
More of the same. Third and short. You just get behind those big dudes up front and convert and keep this drive alive.
It's a pitch. And Williams does make something out of nothing. Allen juggled it, and finally it ended up in Williams' hands. Alexander the tackle, first down.
Dante Jackson was out there in a heartbeat, the corner forcing, but it was the move by the running back. Dante Jackson has him out in space, and Jackson is a great tackler for a corner. David Williams, the sudden stop, gets it up inside, and he only needed a yard. And he got about 2, and Arkansas still alive on this one.
First third down conversion of the day for the Razorbacks comes in the third quarter. Allen sets his feet. Pressure coming. And incomplete. Ed Alexander was bearing down on him. Second down, Arkansas.
Because of the running game, and Arkansas goes to the play action pass as they're knocking on the door of the red zone, and Devwall Whaley was actually running a route outside on the wheel route. 2 guys go to the post and wide receivers trying to clear out for the running back Whaley, and it was well covered by LSU.
Whaley hit initially by White. He couldn't finish the deal. Jackson did. Third down.
White from his linebacker position is so active, and remember what's happening on that play. It's 2 running backs. The fullback is leading the play, but you have a hard time jumping that linebacker Devin White that gets such a quick jump, and he reads and diagnoses so well, and he chases down the running back.
Wearing Duke Riley's old number 40. The current Atlanta Falcon. 3rd and 5. Allen wants to tuck it. White jerseys everywhere. Down he goes. Donnie Alexander, the first hit, the senior out of New Orleans.
So many times off the running game, Arkansas is going to try to boot the quarterback Austin Allen outside, and LSU typically has covered that really well. I think there's only been 1 completion on that type of play. The tight end goes quickly to the flat. You have 2 other levels of receiver. All of them were well covered.
Connor Limpert, the field goal for Arkansas to make it a 3-point game from 38 yards away. See if that missed extra point comes into play. Limpert drills it 13-10.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by USAA. Show your appreciation this Veterans Day using #HonorThroughAction. And Dell, don't just play, game.
This is a beautiful thing LSU has done. It's called the Chair of Honor in the north end zone right next to the LSU tunnel. It's a tribute to U.S. prisoners of war and soldiers who are missing in action. The chair gives them a place to go in the stadium when they return. There's always some place waiting for them when they get back from their duty. This round ball goes out of bounds, and that's not what Arkansas needed after a score, that's for sure.
Kick out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball we place at the 35-yard line. First down.
Well, guys, what we just saw in LSU's opening drive of the third quarter is exactly what Coach Orgeron told me he wanted to see when they came back out to score and get control early. He said that Arkansas beat them with trick plays, which they still think are going to come fast and furious, and that they need better eye discipline at the line of scrimmage as well as pressure from their defensive front.
That eye discipline with all the motion from LSU is important, but on the other side too, as DJ Chark has his first grab in a while, he had the touchdown earlier. Eye discipline for the uninitiated. What does that mean?
Defensively is a reactionary discipline. You react to what the defense is doing, and you have an assignment on the defensive side, and so your eyes have to be in the right place according to the assignment that you have to execute. And a lot of moving parts and changing the picture like we see right here out of LSU. You have to keep your eyes right in order to execute your individual assignment every time.
Geis straight up the gut and an LSU first down. Let's see what's in the Adnan bag of tricks.
I've always got something here for you, JB, I promise. This is Rutgers and Penn State. Speaking of bag of tricks, this is Trace McSorley to Deshaun Hamilton, then to Saquon Barkley with the hurdle. Gets down to the 1. You know, Joe Moorhead loves to call some ingenious plays, and then Barkley pounds it in. Penn State's back on track, 21-6, JB.
You know, it's tougher to get rid of Rutgers right now, though. It really is. They're playing better football. I'm on the Rutgers bandwagon. How about you?
I can tell that.
Etling play action. Sidestepping. Etling, Chark incomplete. Little too much on it. Second down.
Those are the type of throws that Danny Etling just simply hasn't hit enough of this season. And he's just moving his feet. Chark is going to take a long time to get across the field, and then in the end, Etling's just a little bit too fine with it. The defender had fallen down, and as a quarterback, don't feather it in there. Drive one right there before your running back or your wide receiver goes out of bounds.
Whistle before the snap. Reset the play clock. Danny Etling had significant back pain last year. He was dealing with that. This year, sore ribs and an ankle, but he says he's pretty close to 100%. But as you said, a couple of throws he'd want back today. Darius Geis inviting tacklers, and he's not so inviting to take down. Andre Tolliver got steamrolled.
And there we see the eye discipline once again. You have the potential of the fly sweep motion with Gage, and then you simply have a zone run up inside, or the potential for Etling, the quarterback, to keep it outside. So you essentially have the potential of 3 different carriers of the football on one play. The defense has to keep their eyes right, and they didn't on Geis there.
One more time. They pick the right guy. He strolls in. Darius Geis creating separation with every step. Glad they woke up early here in Baton Rouge.
And that's LSU's version of the hurry up. Remember all of the pre-snap minutia, and then they hurry to the line and snap it without anyone moving, and it caught Arkansas's defense a little bit of sleep at the switch.
He missed another one.
Oh,
Cal.
my goodness. I would suggest that Connor Culp does not walk by Coach O as he heads to the sideline. That's not good.
Here's what's good, though. Darius Geis sets him up. And Darius Geis with the spike himself. Look at the speed. Into the end zone for the score. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Vizio. Some positive signs for LSU, but not in the kicking game. Connor Culp, a missed field goal and 2 missed extra points. They were 28 for 28 in extra points this year, but his teammates did come to comfort him, including Darius Geis, during our timeout. Warren and Cross to receive for Arkansas. Davion Warren with the return, and he is lassoed at the 30-yard line. If you're Connor Culp, it's not a great day for you.
No, and with kicking, it kind of gets in your head. It's somewhat like driving or not being able to hit a putt, you know, or make a putt. It's that kind of thing, and then you start to overthink it, and then your teammates start to show up, and if you didn't know something was wrong, you know it's wrong now when your teammates start to come over, because a lot of times your teammates don't even talk to the kickers, and then they're putting your arm around you. I hated that.
You did.
By teammates. You throw a pick and they're coming to console you. Just leave me alone and I'll figure it out.
Wow, Whaley on the carry. There's a flag coming in on the weak side of the play, so we'll check the marker. You really didn't like that?
Yeah,
They're
the
trying to
players,
help you.
I know they have good intention, but come on. I mean, does Colt not know he just missed 3 of them? Every hug reminds him of the bad things.
Personal foul. Defense number 97. Hands to the face. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's Frank Herron, and that is an untimely penalty for LSU.
And very timely for Arkansas, because they need to continue to try to keep up now that LSU offensively has things going in their way.
So you're saying they shouldn't go over to Herron and say, it's okay, buddy.
No, they shouldn't. And I guarantee you 97 Herron wouldn't like it either. Just come by and say something like, keep your head up. We need you.
Yep.
Don't give me a hug.
On the
Move
ready.
along. All right? I can hug you when you don't say something exactly right, and you kind of enjoy that. But I don't know that kickers necessarily do.
I feel like we should toss to the studio shortly.
You're probably hugging in the studio right now, too.
First down for Arkansas, right at midfield. Jet sweep action. Jonathan Nance gets around the corner briefly, and a flag comes in.
I think Frank Herron was hit hands to the face the play before, and he might have been accosted on this play.
Holding. Offense number 21. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
It's a running back, Whaley.
And I think it was way downfield, and it literally might have been Whaley on Frank Herron, number 97, the defensive end downfield, which really didn't have a whole lot to do with the play. Giveth and taketh away. Is that how it goes?
That is exactly right. And that's what happened to LSU a little bit in that Troy game. They only had 3 of their 7 in the defensive line rotation. Now that everybody's back healthy, they can get those guys in and out like Lockett and Herron. Stretch play for Whaley, who just had the penalty. And it's second down and long coming up for Arkansas.
But JB, what happens on an offensive drive when you get behind the chains, now you're going to have to make a play typically in the pass game. And Austin Allen has looked in better rhythm as of late. The last drive of the first half, the first drive of this half, he's made some timely throws, and he's probably going to have to do it to extend this one, even though this is 2nd and 16 here. One of these next 2 downs most likely is going to have to be a pass.
He's been out with a shoulder injury since October the 7th. Allen. On 2nd and 16, that was short of the intended target, but brought in by Jordan Jones, the redshirt freshman.
I think that's where Austin Allen's right shoulder really probably is favored a bit by him. When you're throwing to your left as a right-hander and you're throwing a deep out route, sometimes you just are afraid to just rip it if you have some type of sensitivity.
I don't know, that's caught.
Yeah, you might be right. Jordan Jones was the intended target, and certainly the 90,000 here in Tiger Stadium didn't think he caught it.
And we'll get a stoppage.
I thought he got his hands under it.
You did.
Yeah, that last look, as a replay booth certainly stopped this, are going to take a further look at it. I thought Jordan Jones did a good job of getting his hands under the ball.
Now did Ed Ogeron
The
stop
ruling
it?
on the field is a completed pass. The previous play is on a further review.
Okay. So because the initial conversation was with Ed Ogeron, I thought maybe Ogeron had called the timeout to force the review. Instead, James Carter, the referee, stops it. That's really close.
I think that's a catch. And if it's really close, guess the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
The way it's called on the field is the way it stands. I think it is close, but I really think Jordan Jones did a great job of eyeing the ball early, and it was thrown low. A lot of times as a receiver, you have to adjust. They aren't all perfect. But I think Jordan Jones has this one.
He's another kid that's from Arkansas, but near the border. So this is kind of a border state rivalry. He's from Smackover, Arkansas, where he played
That's a
for.
Great name for where you come from, Smackover. That ought to be where you come from.
That's where I come from when I'm near you. Smackover is the Battlin' Buckaroos, by the way. The
Really?
high school is, yeah. So the Smackover Battlin' Buckaroos.
Do we have some video of the Buckaroos?
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Third down.
So the language is stands, meaning there was not indisputable video evidence to overturn or confirm.
Yeah, I think that was the right way to, or the right terminology by the replay booth. But I thought Jordan Jones did a really good job from Smackover, Arkansas. The Buckaroos.
Big down for Arkansas, 3rd and 9. And a whistle. Out of the replay review, timeout Arkansas. You might need those later.
That's a great point.
First charge time out of the
for
half,
Arkansas. Trailing by 9, 3rd and 9 around the corner. Today on ESPN2, big games with college football playoff implications. Florida State and number 4 Clemson, 3:30 Eastern from the other Death Valley. Then 7 o'clock, second-ranked Alabama, number 16 Mississippi State in Starkville. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. Hurts and Fitzgerald tangling. Alabama, Mississippi State. That's a danger game for the Crimson Tide.
It is, and it's because of Fitzgerald's feet, I think. Not only in design quarterback runs, but the impromptu stuff. But Jalen Hurts has a knack for making critical plays in very critical points and times in the game. Here's a critical one right here for Arkansas.
3rd and 9. Down the sideline, the freshman couldn't make the play. Jordan Jones, the intended target, and he could not haul it in. Greedy Williams, the freshman, on the coverage.
And Jordan Jones had Greedy Williams by about a step and a half, and this ball is just simply underthrown by Austin Allen. Remember, he has a tender right shoulder, and when we were down on the field before the game, he just wasn't really ripping it with confidence. And that ball came up short, or Jones may have actually gotten into the end zone on that one.
Chark hasn't had the opportunity to be explosive in the return game, and he won't here as this one takes a left turn at Albuquerque at the wrong time for the Razorbacks. Adnan Burke.
Love a good Albuquerque reference, JB. Updating you once again on Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. This is Taquan Marshall to Brad Stewart. Enough separation there. 21-9 right now for the Yellow Jackets. Early in the third, JB.
In fact, Adnan, that may have only gotten to Santa Fe. It was a 16-yard punt.
Do I need to get out the map here, or what are we doing?
I don't think that's a good idea. First down for LSU.
And we need to see the Arkansas defense bow up here. That last drive was way, way too easy for LSU offensively.
Danny Etling up the right sideline for a first down LSU as we take a look at this blimp-worthy play brought to you by Goodyear.
Well, we're starting to see more of this with Darius Geis showing what was there to be seen the entire season outside of that 4-game span, where Geis was banged up a little bit, and there was a late flag on that last play, a holding call on LSU, and Geis has been the center of attention, but This is an opportunity because of that holding penalty. LSU gets behind the chains, and Arkansas needs desperately to get off the field. Guys, big numbers, very explosive, almost 8 yards a carry. Looked very good on that previous drive.
He used to say when he was a kid, I don't like the ground. I don't like being on the ground. And rarely is he there. Darrell Williams to the 30-yard line. Santos Ramirez with the tackle. And Ramirez has been the guy to be the vocal leader defensively, number 9 in red for Arkansas. He went into the offense's huddle late in the game against Coastal Carolina, and he said, guys, we've been waiting for you.
I love that. He spent a lot of time in the offseason watching tape with Paul Rhodes, trying to get a feel for this new defensive coordinator. He had coached the secondary, but a new 3-4 scheme, and Santos Ramirez has played at a high level all year long.
Williams on the cutback, kept his feet for a moment, and not much there, so it's 3rd down coming up for LSU. Monday Night Football, it's a big one. Both teams. Dolphins are 4-4. Cam Newton and the Panthers are 6-3. Monday Night Countdown kicks off the coverage at 6 Eastern Time on ESPN. Quarter number 4.
That is the end of the 3rd quarter.
LSU with the lead over Arkansas.
It's number 1 versus number 2 and number 4 versus number 5. One night, 2 blockbuster matchups.
College basketball season's underway. College football playoff rankings as well, as you're watching the SEC on ESPN. And a good one in Death Valley. 3rd and 9 for Etling and LSU. Chark has some steps. Once again, a big play for DJ Chark. Touchdown LSU. "68 yards on the touchdown."
And it really doesn't get much easier than that conceptually on the offensive side. DJ Chark is simply going to run a vertical, and he's going to get on top of Curl. And Curl, the freshman, has a tendency to kind of settle his feet at the top of the route. And he did on that play, and Chark just simply ran right by him. And Danny Etling, more importantly, put it on the wide receiver.
Matt Canada wanted more on the deep balls from Etling in terms of accuracy, as LSU has changed kickers. Jack Gonsolin is in. Connor Culp is out after 2 missed PATs and a missed field goal. So Gonsolin, who kicked early in the year, and you can hear the reaction. The loudest cheer for an extra point maybe in Tiger Stadium history.
Yeah, in the meantime, DJ Chark is down below. He's going to simply run a vertical. It doesn't get much easier than this. It's called a 9 route in a lot of schemes, and the freshman Cameron Curl is settling his feet a little bit at the top of that route, and Chark just goes by him. And Chark is the vertical weapon.
He's beaten both Tolliver and Curl now in today's game. Chark, who was averaging more than 23 yards per catch coming in, is at 4 for 130 today, helping that number. That's over 30 a catch.
And that was at least the 3rd or 4th time that Chark was intentionally put over formationally against the true freshman and runs a vertical and runs right by him. At some point in time, Cameron Curl needs to get out of his back pedal, turn and run, and keep his upfield shoulder as deep as the deepest and try to make a play on that ball, and he didn't do it there. And Chark makes a big play on 3rd down that was a time for Arkansas to get off the field defensively, and obviously they did not do that.
Davion Warren the return. Arkansas needs it and just has it across the 25. Adnan Burke.
All right, thank you very much, JB. Updating you on Rutgers and Penn State and Happy Valley. Saquon Barkley's 10 carries for just 16 yards, but he does have 2 touchdowns. 28-6 for the Nittany Lions early in the 4th. Jason.
Are you still on the bandwagon?
Well, I'm starting to unbuckle my seatbelt. The Rutgers bandwagon.
I think you better get ready to bail here when we turn the corner.
Early but loud still in Baton Rouge.
I have a feeling Arkansas really needs something to go their way offensively right here.
Williams broke the first tackle. It was Devin White, the sophomore linebacker, who came in, and the pile continues to move and may cross the border soon.
A rugby game broke out right there. That was about as good as it gets in a rugby scrum. Isn't that what they call that?
They do. That was 17 yards, half of which came with the entire complement of active players together.
You have about, what, 1,200 pounds on either side of the line that get stood up, and momentum just keeps them going down the field.
Another jet sweep with Nance. Nifty little step inside, and he gets dumped by Donnie Alexander. First down, Arkansas. Remember, this Razorbacks team had to come back as there's an injured player down. That's Ty Clary, the offensive lineman. They had to come back last week against Coastal Carolina from a couple scores down. This isn't over yet. 26-10. ESPN College Football presented by Vizio as part of Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA. And you better stay near your TV or your screen late tonight, because number 3 Notre Dame takes on number 7 unbeaten Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. Look, we had Miami a couple weeks ago and we thought, oh boy, that's a little paper champion-ish. Then they beat Virginia Tech, and now who knows what's going to give tonight in Coral Gables.
Yeah, Brandon Wimbush is going to be, I think, put in a position where he has to use his feet and some clutch passing that he hasn't had to do a lot this season.
Cutback lane again for Williams, who got a shoulder from Arden Key. Gilmore went low. We haven't called Arden Key's name a whole lot today, especially pass rush wise. There hasn't been much opportunity for him either.
Yeah, I think that's the point, because when Arkansas throws the ball, a lot of times they'll play action pass and they will fan, which means they kind of essentially slide over to Arden Key and block him that way, or they're running the ball downhill in a physical manner.
Play action again. Pressure coming, and he throws it into the turf but didn't get it back to the line. We'll see if they throw the intentional grounding flag on that play. Lawrence had the pressure, and you got to believe a flag's coming in here, because that did not get back to the line.
There should be a screener in the middle of all that chaos, though. That was a screen that didn't get set up, and typically when you throw it in that general direction, the official will give it to you, which I think they're going to give it to Austin Allen right here. It wasn't exactly at the feet of the running back, but it was in the vicinity.
1 for 8 on third down for Arkansas. Shovel pass, tight end Patton, and he has a first down for the Razorbacks as we check in with Adnan.
All right, JB, thank you. This certainly has been a high-scoring game between Oklahoma State and Iowa State. David Montgomery on first and goal, pound the rock in. Cyclones up 28-24, ABC and ESPN2. Back to you, Jason.
Good ones all around right now. Arkansas trying to keep this a game, in a 16-point game at 12:30 to go. Williams has seen a lot of run here in the second half. Ball loose. Who's on it? It is Arkansas retaining possession. Colton Jackson, the tackle, got on it.
And Greg Gilmore, the nose tackle, had the first opportunity, I think, to jump on this, but it fell right at the feet of Colton Jackson. Heady play by the left tackle. The ball kind of went right between his feet, and he said, hey, I better jump on this thing.
Play action. Allen has to pitch it out wide. They could call a trip on that. And finally, the tackle made by Frank Heron. Got the leg stuck out. Looked like Arden Key. And it's third down coming up.
That was a great move by Jonathan Nance. That was an outlet receiver, probably the third, maybe even the fourth look by Austin Allen. Setting out wide was the wide receiver. Made a great move on Arden Key and got some yards out of that one when it looked like nothing was there. Another big down, JB, at 3rd and 6 for Arkansas.
Quick set for Allen. Double clutch, and he whistled it wide and incomplete for Deion Stewart.
And a late flag came in, and this is going to be a cut block. Two offensive linemen, I think, engaged Rashad Lawrence at the same time.
You take it and force him back. I think the answer is yes, right?
I think you're exactly right.
Personal foul, chop blocks, offense, number 51 and 74, 15-yard penalty, third down.
Holton Jackson engaged Rashad Lawrence at the same time, and you can't do that. And that happens so many times on a quick throw because offensive linemen are taught to cut the defensive lineman to get their hands down. And if another offensive lineman has already engaged up top and then the next one cuts him, it's illegal. It's called a chop block, and that's what Arkansas got called for right there. And now 3rd and 6 becomes third in a really, really long time.
And you take it because this is 4-down territory. Arkansas would have gone for it on 4th and 6.
Exactly.
Alexander coming. Allen steps into the pressure, throws it deep and incomplete for Deion Stewart again. Now it's 4th down and forever. What's your call here?
Yeah, I mean, typically you would want to punt this and gain a little field position, and I think that's exactly what Brett Bielema is going to do. There was nothing on that play. A little bit of pressure, but Austin Allen had time. He had to climb in the pocket a bit, but the deep post route was covered over the top with the safety and underneath with another defensive back.
Johnson's been busy today. DJ Chark waves this one off and gets on top of it just in case somebody touched that on his team. So LSU by 16 when we come back.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays.
Some of the brave men and women from around the world sporting their mostly LSU colors there. We honor all of America's heroes this Veterans Day weekend who have served and are currently serving in our nation's armed forces. The love for college football and for schools, especially in the SEC, as we've seen around the globe, across countries and borders, is truly remarkable. LSU's offense trying to put it away. Darius Geis slithers by one tackle and gets to the 16. Time for the Aflac trivia question. And lo and behold, Darius Geis is part of the topic.
Aflac!
5 250-yard rushing games in LSU history. Geis has 3 of them. 3 have rushed for 250. Who are the other 2?
I'm not very good at these.
Well, that's clear. You don't have an answer.
I don't even have a guess. That's worse than not having an answer.
So I gave you Geis. He's one of them. Another one's in the NFL right now. And another one you're not going to get.
Well, Leonard Fournette has to be one of them, right?
He is.
Okay.
We'll get to the answer in a moment. But first of all, how about Darius Geis? he sees Dijon Harris there, and he says, you know what, I'm going to run into you.
You've talked about he's a physical guy. Life has kind of prepared him to run like that, run in an angry manner and play hurt, and he has the explosiveness, but you better keep your head on a swivel if you're going to tackle number 5.
One of his elementary school teachers said he wanted a bag of Cheetos every day. He's a little more chiseled now as this one is wide open. Stephon Sullivan is across the 40-yard line and a first down. The story on Geis and the Cheetos being every day in elementary school he'd say, I want Cheetos, I want Cheetos, I want Cheetos. And his diet is a little bit better now.
That's not a bad choice. Cheetos, really. You have to just have the ability to clean your face after you eat them.
That's right.
And your fingers, for that matter.
And now he just cleans clocks.
See how you kind of tied that in there.
More jet sweep action. This Justin Jefferson, the freshman, and we'll lob Kelly the answer to our Aflac
hold on
trivia
a second.
question.
I picked one of the guys.
Yeah, you got him.
Well, you have to get the other one then.
I bet it's
kind of the team thing.
I bet it's Ali Broussard. Was my timing good?
That was right on the tip of my tongue.
The key to these trivia questions is wait for them to show up on the screen.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah. Thank you. That's our Aflac trivia answer. The long and the short of it is LSU has some running backs as Geis navigates to just short of midfield as the clock continues to churn. LSU trying to get to win number 7 after a loss to Troy earlier in the year. But don't forget, in 2000, Nick Saban's first season here, LSU lost to UAB, dropped to 2-2, but finished 8-4, and a similar trajectory for Ed Ogeron's team this season.
And what you see coming together on both sides of the ball are two really talented coordinators, and Dave Aranda offensively, Matt Canada offensively, Aranda on the defensive side, and the players on the roster are starting to get it on both sides.
Etling play action. He loads it up to the second level and has a first down to Sullivan as we wave hello to Adnan.
Hello, JB. Updating you once again on Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. So the Yellow Jackets up 21-9. Jalen Holston, 8-yard touchdown run. It's now a 5-point game as the Yellow Jackets still have the lead. And coming up next, awfully tough year for Florida State. But the future is bright with James Blackman at quarterback. He and the Seminoles facing Clemson coming up next. JB.
Certainly is. We've seen him this year. Officially, it's called incomplete on the ball to Sullivan, but it looked like he brought it in.
He certainly should have caught it clean, and it looked like he brought it in. Yeah, all the way through the act of the catch, which in this case means you have to secure it to the ground, and he didn't do that. As the ball came out right at the end, it nullifies the catch. An act common to the game. In this case, it's just simply securing it and going to the ground, and he didn't complete it.
LSU has called a timeout to challenge the ruling of an incomplete pass on the field. The previous play is under review.
A good job by Coach Orgeron to do exactly that, to take a further look. You're not out really at this point in time in the game, and if you can possess it here on the conversion by Sullivan as opposed to giving it up, but all is good right there. But when it comes loose at the end, I think that's going to be held up as called on the field, in this case an incomplete pass.
I almost wish in college football, and again this is for the rules committee, but you could easily say that when a body part is down signaling that you're down, that's the end of the catch. I mean, in that
ruling of the
case,
incomplete pass has been confirmed. LSU will be charged a timeout and will lose their challenge.
That's the right call based on the rule. Absolutely right call based on the rule. The off-ramp here that I'm taking you on is that you could say that the catch is dead no matter what, whether it's secured or not, when a body part that can signal you down is down.
I agree. I completely agree with that, because the raking of the ball that lodged it free from Sullivan came after the player was down. I completely agree with that.
Fair catch for Tolliver inside the 15. So Arkansas has a lot of climbing to do, down a couple of scores. They came back against Coastal Carolina last week. This is a different defense in Baton Rouge. Tonight, 12:30 a.m. Eastern on SportsCenter following championship boxing. Herbie breaks down Showdown Saturday. Notre Dame, Miami's impact. The Heisman race as well. Sixers, Warriors. SportsCenter, Linda Cohn, Stan Verrett also streaming on the ESPN app as Cole Kelly is in at quarterback for the first time today with a bum toe on his right foot. He hands it off to Whaley, who finds his way across the 20-yard line. Might not be the quarterback, that's the issue, though. Could be the field position.
Yeah, the starting drive, 7 Arkansas drives, 20 or inside of that. And I don't remember Austin Allen really missing a lot of open guys.
To the sideline it goes, and incomplete, nearly ripped off by Dante Jackson. And Kelly is the guy who's brought them back a couple of times last few weeks. You got to believe he wants this one a little bit more, being from Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, and LSU is not Ole Miss, nor are they Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. They're a different animal defensively out there facing Cole Kelly this time. But I think Cole Kelly certainly is the quarterback that they think is going to be in charge of this offense going forward. A massive guy at 6'7", 270 pounds. Has a decent arm. He's more nimble-footed than you would think a big man would be. More quarterback run, but probably not because of the condition of the big toe on his right foot.
Shovel pass, and that's not going to get the job done, it doesn't look like. A little bit short of the marker to Patton.
I think they're going to be a solid yard short, maybe a skosh more than that.
They're going to go fast, and they're going to go for it. It's a sneak. He's driven back. I don't think he got there. LSU holds the line.
If you can lose yardage on a quarterback sneak, I think Arkansas just did it. And I understand why that was the call. I think you got to go for it right here, and the massive quarterback at 6'7", like I said, 270, sneaks it, but there's zero push. Watch the line of scrimmage and who wins it. LSU resets the line of scrimmage backwards into the backfield of Arkansas and absolutely annihilated Arkansas's offensive line on that play. No push whatsoever. Turns the ball over.
This is one of the tallest quarterbacks in the FBS. 6'7", Cole Kelly had no push. Darius Geis puts that foot in the ground inside the red zone, second down.
Well, the thing is, Jason, also is Cole Kelly puts his right foot behind him to get a push on that quarterback sneak. And remember, that's the big toe that prevented him from probably starting this game. And so he probably didn't get a great push, and then his offensive line made it worse by not getting a push. There goes the right foot. Not a real strong push, even though he's 6'7", 270. He didn't go anywhere.
Etling, design run. And he has an alley inside the 15. So certainly Danny Etling missed a couple in the first half, but 11 for 16 for 217 and 2 touchdowns, no picks isn't a bad day.
It's not a bad day, but LSU is looking for more out of the quarterback than just not having a bad day. Because that's similar to what they got last year, right? I mean, last week against Alabama, missing 6 down the field. They, bat 500 in that case, 2 out of the 6, and you have a chance to upset the number 2 team in the country.
Williams, and Darrell Williams goes face to face with Santos Ramirez and wins the day, first down.
But that's what Matt Canada told us about that quarterback position. It's established the run game and all the stuff that happens before the snap. But when it's time to throw it, play action, kind of a control passing game at times, but then the vertical opportunities. They had a half dozen last week against Alabama, and you don't get by beyond the coverage at Alabama that much. If you just hit a couple of them, think about how that game goes.
Geis up the middle. Geis to the 1-yard line. He got spat out of the pile somehow and nearly was projected into the end zone.
Well, if you look up angry run in the dictionary, it looks like Darius Geis on this play. I mean, seriously, it's a business decision to come up there and tackle that guy because he's going to give you everything that he has.
We showed you the big rush games in this series. He had one of them last year. He's got another one today. Geis pushing. Touchdown.
Well, this really is what LSU's offense was supposed to look like all year. And Geis got banged up in camp and then was getting healthy early and got banged up again and spent 4 weeks not really looking like himself. And Darrell Williams filled in, but a brutally physical run game coupled with executing the pass game at an efficient manner. And LSU has done more of that today than they have recently.
We said earlier, Darius Geis, when he was younger, said, I don't like the ground. He doesn't get on the ground much. Allstate is proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds.
Well, you talked about Geis potentially having a big day. It's not like 250 big, but 21 carries, 147 yards, and got into the end zone 3 times. That's a pretty big day.
Well, it doesn't take much to divine that Arkansas LSU might be decided by a running back, considering McFadden and Niall Davis and Jeremy Hill, who we showed you earlier. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Big lead for LSU, trying to get to win number 7 on the year. And Arkansas will get it back just across the 20-yard line. Adnan Verk, what do we have?
Well, JB, a couple updates here for you, including what has been a fascinating game in the Big 12. Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Mason Rudolph to McCleskey over the middle. And look at the speed he will utilize here to break away from the rest of the Cyclone secondary. 31-28, they punched it in. It's on ABC and ESPN2. Cowboys have the lead at Florida and South Carolina. Jake Bentley's got 3 picks. He does have 2 rushing touchdowns as well. 28-13, they lead the Gators. JB.
Gators putting up a little bit of a fight, down 2 scores as Arkansas made a quarterback change last possession and now runs the ball with David Williams.
Well, guys, it seemed as though Cole Kelly was a bit surprised to come in on this drive. He was sitting down without his helmet. Austin Allen was standing up ready to go. But before he came in on the first drive of the game, Austin was really helping him out, giving him a lot of words of encouragement. He told me that the two of them, while very different, are very close. He even was making fun of his Cajun accent.
Yeah, he does the impression, right? Austin Allen does the joking Cole Kelly Cajun accent. And it was such a heavy accent, Lafayette, Louisiana, from Kelly, that when he first got to Arkansas, some players had to say, dude, slow down. We don't know what the call is. But to his credit, Austin Allen, even while injured, traveled to every game, even when he knew he wasn't going to play, and was positive and assertive on the sideline and tried to help Cole Kelly get through his redshirt freshman season.
Great teammate is Austin Allen. He's a captain for a reason, and he stuck with his team, and he certainly stuck with Cole Kelly. Cole Kelly can learn a lot from Austin Allen.
Some contact down the sideline, no flag. Kevin Tolliver was there. I mean, we were talking to Danny Etling yesterday, the LSU quarterback, and he told us about his play calls, both at Purdue and at LSU, and he shared the length of the play calls. We're talking 15 to 20 words per play call. So as a redshirt freshman, there's a lot of learning that needs to get done.
Oh, yeah, it's extensive. And these offenses don't hurry up, or they wouldn't be reciting a poem every time they called a play. But there's a lot on the plate of the quarterbacks in it. LSU system as well as Arkansas's.
Pressure coming, and this is incomplete.
Well, Cole Kelly is not quick, but he's typically pretty decisive in the run game part, which is limited because of his big toe on his right foot. But he has a nice arm, and certainly Arkansas believes that he's the guy to run this ship going forward, and he's more vocal certainly than Austin Allen is, even though Austin Allen is known to be a really good leader. But yeah, that Cajun accent, you have to say it in a way that people can understand it, especially in a huddle when you can't hear a whole lot in there most of the time anyway.
This one is caught right at the marker at a first down for Arkansas. Gragg again, Will Gragg with the catch. Whaley, and Devois Whaley is undercut right at midfield by Donnie Alexander.
You know, has had himself a great game today is number 40 for LSU, Devin White. 12 tackles, has got over 100 tackles on the year as of today.
This one's airmailed and incomplete. The pressure was coming again. Calevon Chason, the freshman from Houston, was in on the pressure. He's played a lot today. It's a third down.
Yeah, and LSU just teeing off now. Obviously, Arkansas has to throw the ball to try to get down there, and the intention is to get some more points.
This was interesting. We were talking to Devin White, the linebacker you're mentioning, the other day at practice. He said, I can feel the snap count. He just feels the snap count somehow.
Yeah, and they're good at stealing that on that side for sure. And he plays kind of the rover hybrid linebacking position. And quarterbacks get in a rhythm of calling the snap count just like other players get in the rhythm of playing their positions.
Petway across the 30-yard line. LaMichael Petway for the first down, Arkansas.
And JB, that was interesting to hear White talk about that, and I don't think people really understand all of the little clues the defensive players are trying to get, and that's one of them. Quarterbacks get into a rhythm of calling the cadence, and as a defender you begin to feel when the snap count is coming, and that's what Devin White was explaining to us yesterday, and it helps you get a jump on the play.
Kelly down the middle, incomplete, too much on it. Deion Stewart has been the deep threat today, but he hasn't had many catchable balls come his direction.
No, there haven't been many open receivers, to be perfectly honest. Remember in that first half when Jordan Jones got behind the LSU coverage and had a chance for a big play, and Austin Allen, the ball came up a little bit short, and I think it was that sensitive right shoulder that couldn't get enough rip on it. But there haven't been a lot of open receivers. Quarterbacks haven't missed them because they haven't been there to miss.
Arkansas decides to run with Whaley. And this may be the white flag from the Razorbacks at 4-5, and they would need to do some damage down the stretch here to get themselves into a bowl game for Brett Bielema. 5th season since coming over from Wisconsin. Arkansas finishes home against Mississippi State and then home against Mizzou. For the end zone, and incomplete. Tolliver once again on the coverage.
And remember, at the end of the year, that Mizzou team might be trying to get bowl eligible also if it comes down to that.
That's an improved side that we saw last week, Barry Odom. But for Brett Bielema, 2 games under 500. FPI says you're probably not going to win next time out. And then Mizzou, a 43% chance to win. At the very worst, you have to get to 5-7 to get to a bowl game with the APR edition. But 6-6 is advisable, and 4-6 would be the record with a loss today. Cole Kelly on 4th down. Intercepted in the end zone. Greedy Williams with his 4th of his freshman season.
And maybe the best name for a corner in all the land. If your child is going to be a corner, you name him Greedy.
He's named Greedy. It's his nickname because when he was young, he always wanted more food.
His grandma had to have something to do with that. Grandmas are always naming you things like that. That was a good play by Greedy to finish on the ball. There was a chance if that ball is throwing somewhere between the belly button to the knees on Nance from Cole Kelly, there was a chance to actually complete that football, but it was high and behind him, and Greedy Williams actually makes a really nice catch.
Given name, Andreas. Fitting name, Greedy.
He was greedy on that last play, that's for sure.
So Danny Etling, the transfer from Purdue, whose coach who recruited him to Purdue was fired on his official visit day. He started 12 games there anyway, and now under some fire after some misfires on the deep balls, leads LSU to a 33-10 win this morning and now afternoon in Baton Rouge. LSU is at Tennessee and home for Texas A&M to finish the year. The Tigers are 7-3 as they beat the Arkansas Razorbacks.